Alright, we're dealing with the quotient property. Why? Well, because the next part of your homework right here says quotient property of square roots, and it gives you 4 problems there. Okay? Now, with that being said, let's take a look at some examples here. Okay? What is the quotient property trying to do? Okay? Well, when I say quotient, that just means divide. That should be pretty obvious, right? And you can split it up here. Just like we split up two things that you could multiply, you can split it up as a divide here. And when you can simplify something like square root of 4 to give me 2, then that's what I want you to do. Okay? So, when I go to look at these, again, I just break them down. This is square root of 16 over square root of 25, which is just the square root of 16. Again, we go back to that list. That list is going to show up over and over and over. This thing that you should have filled out on the top of your homework anyway. We use those numbers. Again, I'm looking at square root of 16 is 4, square root of 25 is 5, and I just write those numbers down. Done. Okay? Right here, this is the square root of 17 over the square root of 100. Now, we can't have square roots in the bottom, but it's okay because this just works out anyway because the square root of 100 is 10. You can have square roots on top. That's okay, and there it is. Okay? Next one, square root of x squared over the square root of 49. Okay? Well, here's how you do exponents. This is something a little different. We haven't done this yet. But to square root exponents, okay, you just divide by 2. So the square root of x squared means x2 divided by 2, which is x to the first. And the square root of 49 is just 7. If I said, what's the square root of x to the 6th? You would just go x to the 6th divided by 2 and get x to the 3. You just divide it by 2 in your square root when it comes to letters, which actually works out ironic because I have that here. This is square root of 4 times square root of x to the 6th over the square root of 64. Again, all I'm doing is breaking it up. And then I just take the square root of each term. Square root of 4 is 2. The square root of x to the 6th, again, is 6 divided by 2 is 3. And the square root of 64 is 8. Okay? That would probably be good enough, but I can still reduce this. Right? 2 goes into there once. 2 goes into there 4 times. That's really what it is when it's reduced. Okay? Alright. Maybe press pause on the video and just try these 4 problems down below. Don't make them harder than what they are. Take the square root of each term, simplify it if it can be. Okay, that one was probably a little more difficult because this is easy and some of you would have just left it as square root of 18 on top. But 18 is 9 times 2 and I can square root that 9 and pull it out. And then I see 3 that I can divide into here and 3 that I can divide into here to get, if you want to put a 1 there, that's okay, but square root of 2 over 3. The rest of these are pretty easy. Square root of 36 over the square root of z squared is negative 6 over z because I'd go 2 divided by 2. Here is square root of 23 over square root of 9. 23 is a prime number, so there is nothing I can do with that. And 3 is the square root of 9. And then here, again, this is square root of 25 times square root of x squared times over the square root of 36, which is 5x and 6, because again, 2 divided by 2 is how I would get x to the first. And that's it for quotients. Quotient property of square roots. Just square root everything. Again, you can't have a square root on the bottom. We'll talk about that in another video. But that's it for quotients. Now you can go to the homework. Again, you should probably have these out so you can look at it. And on the homework, you're going to do the quotient property here. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, there you go. The quotient property, those 4 problems. Okay? All right. Watch for the next one.